So welcome back to another episode of I'll Give It a DIY Try. This is another Dylan's Garage version. I always had a dream that if I had a garage someday that I'm going to do a lot of projects in, that I want to have pneumatic air everywhere. I want regulated air, I want high compression air, and I want it hidden. A lot of the air systems I see are external. They go on the outside of finished walls. I wanted this to be like plumbing. I got myself some PEX pipe, a lot of pipe fittings. I got another little air compressor. Right now, this is the setup I'm using. It's a pain, it's ugly, it's out in the middle of everywhere. Let's do this right. Let's put the electricity up to it so we can switch it, access it from many different points, recoil it. Let's have a whack at it. So to do the pneumatic system in this garage, I had an old Blue Max compressor that I'm not currently using. I'm figuring we convert this to use. We can take this off with a few screws. We won't need this where this is going. And since I'm going to put this up in the rafter, I want to make it so that I can lock the wheels in. So I just took a piece of 2x4, cut a hole in it, big enough for the original wheel bolt to go through. Screw that in. And now I should have a permanent platform to put the compressor up in the rafters. I gotta rerun this so it goes underneath here. We'll see if I can do this without knocking off my hammer. Oh, couldn't do it. So right here, I have a jack coming out of the wall. I didn't put any drainage or anything in for this point, but it easily unscrews and we'll be able to put any kind of block or drainage on there that we want. That runs all the way up through the ceiling. And then I have a T up there. That T comes all the way across this pipe here. And I have this Flex Seal reel here that I want to put on the ceiling and pull it down. So I'm thinking somewhere between these two lights, I'll put that Flexzilla. So we got to run a T off the line there down for that. So let's get to that step. So I want to put an air compressor line coming down from the top of the ceiling. So I'm going to create a little fixture that I can run the PEX into and then screw an air compressor hose fitting into. So what we have is a couple pieces of copper, a copper nut, an adapter to PEX, and I cut a little piece of pipe in half so that I can solder and have some screw holes to mount to. So let's put some paste on this. So that's what it'll look like. Let's put some heat to it and put some solder on it. It's a little chilly in here, so thought I'd give us a little warmth. So there you go, our finished homemade fitting. We'll screw this, put the PEX here, and then we got two adapters for different sizes for air hoses if you want. Really nice and secure. All right, we're going to do a unboxing of this Flexzilla air reel. Kind of do a little review of it as we go along. So brand new, tape still on. Looks like we can put some pretty big hardware in here to hold it up. Just the standard air hose size. And also just standard air hose size. So pretty simple. I think the next step is just to get the right bolts so that when we attach this, it is not going to be falling down on us. So to screw this in, I'm going to have to counter twist backwards to start with. And it ain't going to be enough. All right, so this is a 10-foot ceiling. This thing's down far enough where I can grab onto it and use it. Let's see how far I can go. Plenty far. Very nice. So far, we haven't pressurized it, but I really like it. So I want to put this water separator and regulator. I just have on the input here a connection with the PEX outflow. Now, unfortunately, air connection is going to come out this side. I'd like it to go that way, but since the output port is on this side, I don't really see a good conclusion here. It's just going to have to point that way. Unless I save this for down there, to which case I can put this block. So I also have this. This comes straight out, so it's probably going to be better to have that here. This has a regulator and a way to get rid of the water. So this is what I have made up. Block, drain, regulator, PEX, and stub to come out the wall. So if I mount this right, well, probably go a little higher, right there. I want a 1/2 inch for the sheetrock. That's exactly what I got. So we'll just go ahead and mount this with some screws, short screws. Don't want to go too far out the back. Now if I'm going to attach this here, I'm going to need a backer. So I need to put a plate over here that will give me a place to put my screws into. So let me go find something and cut it out. All good. So one of the last steps is I need to hook the PEX air hoses into the air compressor itself. Now the air compressor has this size of outlet, and I need to connect to the PEX. I fashioned myself another adapter. So we go from a standard, I think it's 1/4 inch thread to PEX end. And I have this hose here, so I will be able to screw, and this is this turns on a pivot, so I'll be able to screw it into here, and then this also I'll be able to screw into an adapter into the air compressor itself. So let's get up there and get it in. right, have that. Now this has a compression fitting in it, so it compresses it around this ring here. So this is one I don't need any Teflon tape on. All right, I think we have the air compressor hooked up. So I believe all the air hoses are connected and locked up. If I haven't forgot to crimp any rings, we should get some air pressure here. I've run extension cord up here and let's plug it in. I don't think this would have held air either. So we got a few things left to fix. All right, got the air chuck on the retractable. There was a leak coming out of the bottom of this. I'm not all the familiar of how you work this thing. I'm gonna have to do a little research and come back to it. All right, take two. Let's see if it holds air this time. I don't hear air rushing like I did last time, so don't hear anything out of there or there. Don't hear anything out of here. Don't hear anything out of here, and it looks like we're holding pressure. Let's try this. Well, good. I'll come back in about 5 or 10 minutes and we'll see how much pressure we have. So the final step in getting this air compressor is to wire it in. I've put a plug-in box up above. I want to tie into the main breaker box here. This breaker only goes to 130 amp or 30 amp plug-in on the other wall. That's going to be for my welder. I'm going to tie into this also for now, but at some point I'll probably put them on their own circuits. So I also want an on-off switch. I'll probably put it right here. So let's get the wire to the on-off box, then up to the plug-in for the air compressor. So what's nice is when you wire these in, if you leave a pigtail hanging down, you can move them up and down and you're never really limited. All right, last step is we need to wire this into the branch that goes into the fuse box. I'm going to turn off the power again. So now we should be good. So we have two 12 gauge black wires that provide the hot circuit to the outlet where the air compressor is. Those will go on each side of the switch. Hook on this one. Look at the writing on the switch. Make sure it's up, right side up. Otherwise it'll annoy you for years to come. Oh well, broken cover, but it's the only one I have right now. All right, turning power back on. And if I've done this right, we should hear the air compressor kick on. We'd come back to this one. I figured out what's going on. This has a push-pull locking mechanism. So you pull it up, you see the red. Now you can turn it. You get where you want. You push it down. You can't turn it anymore. So that's the secret. Well, I think at this point I'm going to call it done until I finish the walls. There's not a lot more I can do. So let's take one final tour and see what we have done here. So over here I have a regulated end drain. Allows me to change. So I can do bench blowing. If we come over here, I have another pressurized and a drain. Ran out of fittings, so this is just kind of a little rough right now. But at some point, I will embed it back in the wall. This will probably be like for painting or a lacquer gun. I can also use it for the bench. This is one of my favorite. This is a Flexzilla. Way up here in the north, it gets really cold. And most pneumatic lines turn rock hard and won't bend. Flexzilla is really nice and flexible even in very cold days. So this is 50 feet. It'll go anywhere in this garage and even quite a ways out into the yard if I ever need it. I could probably even use it to re-roof this building. Over here we have one simple outlet. Right now this doesn't have any kind of drain or regulator on it. I don't know if I will get fancy like that. And here's the light switch that turns the air compressor above us on. So it's nice and out of the way. I can turn it on when I'm going to use it and turn it off when I don't need it. So I hope that helps everybody understand what goes into a pneumatic air system when you're putting it inside of a garage. I'm a total amateur. I have really no idea what I'm doing besides just the basic knowledge of plumbing and what I want personally. So this system is exactly what I wanted, and it makes me happy. Someday I'll probably do a follow-up video where I show it all finished once the walls are sheetrocked. So until then, I hope you enjoyed this episode. Make sure to like and subscribe, because the more you guys do that, the more I can make videos like this. So catch you next time.